Hello, everybody. This is Anbu from North South Foundation. Starting this webinar, uh, and today's topic is the on a very hot topic. It's on automation. We have Satendra and Neeta as the subject matter experts who will be giving this presentation. Um, Before they start the webinar, we have Dr. Chituri, the founder and former president of North South Foundation, who would like to say a few words before you go. He doesn't need any introduction. He is being our pillar, our inspiration for many of our volunteers here in the North South Foundation, and has been running it for more than 30 years now. Go ahead, Dr. Chituri.
Thank you, Ambu. Good afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, and I hope on the East Coast, you're doing well in this storm weather, not so good weather. And good morning, everyone else, Midwest and West. And thank you for joining. This is a webinar. I just wanted to say a few words. As most of you know, North South Foundation parents and children, we've been focusing on excellence in education for the last 28 years now. And we were focusing on compassion, empathy in India, giving scholarships. And now over the last few years, we're trying to include other things. Excellence in education is important. In addition, career planning is important for our children. It's very important. It's fine to excel in what you do, but also how do you plan for the future, career-wise, right? So we're trying to focus on that. We started about a year ago with the webinars, different kinds of webinars, different topics, and I hope you are participating in it, and you should take advantage of that. These are all free, and we're trying to get experts in a given topic and present it to you. In career planning, you may have read newspapers, articles, social media. It's something it's not new to you, but I want to remind you that the jobs that exist today will not exist in 20 to 30 years from now. So whatever the jobs are today will not exist 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Please remember that. Every day we should remember that. And if that is true, what is it that we can do to participate in the new job market? How do we do that? So the world is changing faster and faster. You look at what happened to the communication technology with the mobile phones, cell phones, and social media, Zoom, search engines. It's amazing. The whole world is on your cell phone, 2 by 2 inch space. And this will continue to expand exponentially. Things will change faster and faster. So we have to keep up with that. It's not easy, but we need to keep up. If you don't keep up, we're going to fall wayside. And we're the ones who will suffer. We're the ones who will suffer. So if you don't want to be suffer, we want to have a good life, joyful life, and we need to be aware of what is going on and stay ahead of the curve. How do you stay ahead of the curve? And please attend these seminars. We started with earlier with the Neeta on data science. Data science is one area that's going to explode, continue to explode, because data is cheap, right? Storage is cheap, and you can put everything on the cloud. You can access it, and there's search engines available. So a lot of data analytics can be done. So we started with data science with Neeta. Then also we had an actuarial science webinar some time ago from a professor from University of Michigan. That's another area. Uses data science to a career. right? Actuarial science is a wonderful area. You can, it's a good profession, both intellectually and also using your skills, and also you can have a good life, good income, and it's a wonderful job to have. And now today, Satendra is going to talk about robotics. Of course, robotics you're all familiar with for the last 20, 25 years now, but it's changing. Again, it's changing every day. And so he's going to talk about that. We're also planning another webinar, artificial intelligence is going to come up, and machine learning will most likely in October, November time period. Please, please make sure you join that call, so you can ask the experts questions that you have, how to be ahead of the curve. And so artificial intelligence is important, machine learning is important, data science is important. So using these skills, how do you acquire these skills in high school or even middle school, right? It's important. You have to be good in math, you have to be good in statistics, you have to be good in science. So you can go into there is no endeavor in this world that will not involve AI, machine learning, data science going forward. Whether you're talking about education, you're talking about health, any area, even a design. Somebody was talking about a design. If you want to specialize in design, you need to know AI. You need to know the drafting on everything is in the computer, on the screen, on a dashboard. So it doesn't matter if you're an architect. You have to know all these tools, right? It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a nurse, engineer, doctor. It doesn't matter. Insurance, whatever you want to specialize, you still have to learn these tools. If you don't learn them, it's going to impact you negatively. So please remember that. And also in this fast changing world, I came up with a new acronym. Okay, the acronym is IPEN, right? IPEN, P-E-N. I means inspiration, P means passion, E means energy, N means neurons firing in all cylinders. Remember that. If you remember that, if you follow that curve, then you will excel in whatever you do. It doesn't matter what endeavor you do, you will be successful. Okay. With that, I will stop here, and Ambu, you take it back. Thanks for joining, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Chituri. Thanks for those inspiring words. So, Satendra, before we go on, for everybody, this webinar is being recorded now. The copy of the recording will be sent to you within 2 days. All registrants will get the copy of the recording. There is a question panel. If you have any questions, please post your question there. And Satendra, do you want to do a question and answer at the middle once and at the end, or just only at the end?
We can do in the end. I would like to encourage folks to ask as many questions as you all have, to make it conversational towards the end. I'll give the brief, and Dr. Chituri did a fantastic introduction, so thank you for that. So we'll give you the details in terms of what the technologies are, what the logistics, how things are working, but I also want to give back or share the experience that I have as much as I can with you all, so that if it can be of any help and you can use it, and if it helps in your career progression, that will be the satisfaction I will gain out of all the hard work that North-South is doing. Dr. Chituri has been trying to get some of us who are in the industry and doing this to share with you all.
Cool. Appreciate it. So, once again, good afternoon or good morning, depending upon which side of the globe we are. Welcome to this North-South webinar. We have Satendra Shukla and Neeta Upadhyay, who are the subject matter experts. Both of them have been involved in North-South a lot. Just a brief introduction to Satendra. He's a healthcare executive. His focus is on automation on various aspects of that industry. He's a software engineer by training, has been in this field of a Fortune 50 healthcare payer organization for the past 17 years. He's the founder of the RPA practice that they have in his company. It's been interviewed by Forbes for advancing RPA practice and in healthcare especially. And he's a two-time national award winner for innovation and operational excellence. He also coaches for Mason, Ohio Destination and Imagination teams. And he reviews projects for high school students there in Ohio too. With no further ado, I give the platform back to Satendra. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you for a fantastic introduction. So a little bit of a brief in terms of what I do here at CareSource. It's a medium size, but it's one of the largest in Medicaid space. We do healthcare. And how I ended up with robotics and what we do, we'll get more into the detail. A brief dot to connect as we go through the conversation and we go through these slides. You all will be able to put all this together. Neeta is my wife, and she heads the data science team within CareSource. I'll leave it there. And as we go together through these slides, you all will see what is robotics, what's the importance of these data science technologies and artificial intelligence and machine learning, and how it is changing the workforce that we have known, how it is impacting the industry that we have known, and how it is going to continue to impact. And as Dr. Chituri pointed out, one thing that we all, being in the profession that we are, need to know is change is the only thing that you can predict. It's going to happen. What you can do, sometimes we don't know how the change will be and how it will impact. What you really need to do is to have an analytical mindset, have a growth mindset where you continue to learn, be very flexible with yourself, where you continue to adapt, be very thoughtful in your decisions in terms of the skills that you gain, how you train yourself for lifelong learning and acquiring of skills and growth. That's not going to change. If you stop doing that, you will become stagnant and you never know the skills you have may not exist in near future. So you need to train yourself along those patterns. You need to prepare yourself for these changes because these changes will happen. They will continue to happen. And that's how humanity works. Humanity will create progress. And one of the progress that has a lot of steam and we have continuously see is this evolution of technology and how they have changed how we live our life, how we think about different things. And frankly, they all have made humanity better. Think about it, us, a lot of us come from India in North-South. Our ability to visit our families in India, we can travel in a day. We can travel and see our friends, think about the cars. Before cars, you can't even think going to different places. So keep those things in mind. What I'm trying to get out of the presentation based on what skills you have. If you are a student, I hope I motivate you enough and give you some anecdotes where you can understand how you are going to build your career, what technology you want to choose, how you want to pursue your career. If some of you are working professionals, hopefully I'll give you some things to ponder, how you acquire a skill, how these things work, and what will be helpful for you. And if you are an executive and in those kind of positions, it will give you some context how you want to shape up your organization and how you want to take advantage of these technologies if this is something resonates with you. So with that, I'll get started with a quote that I found pretty interesting from McKinsey. Automation is the next disruption of the work. It's not a new code. We already have been going through this disruption for a while. Some of the disruptions that has happened in past, job move to offshore, technology, some of the traditional work. Think about some of the old blue collar jobs that folks had. They don't exist anymore. It's very easy to do those with technology. What is really happening within industry right now is the collaboration of technology and we as a humans, and creating an impact with that collaboration. So that's what these technologies are about, what's happening in our industry right now. So as someone in a place where we need to make a lot of decisions every day in terms of how we shape our organization, how do we be not blindsided in terms of making sure we are investing in right places so that our organization can continue to grow? How do we keep ourselves updated, making sure our decisions are thoughtful and they always are moving our steps, our organizations in the right direction? We always have the pressure. These pressures have been traditional. It has not changed. Technology and process optimization has been happening for last 30, 40, 50 years, and they will continue to happen. We need to grow our organizations. We have to invest in right places so that our organization can continue to grow. Now, market saturation. If we all invented something or a company invented something that works well, you will find people who would like to take advantage of the research and create a similar product, and market gets saturation. Or you have perfected the art of producing these things where now the demand is stabilizing, right? Compliance and regulations. Now, especially in the industry that I work with, this is one of the biggest things that we need to be mindful of every day in healthcare. We are heavily regulated. We have all kinds of regulations that we need to follow. We get audited by our regulators. We get audited by federal agencies, state agencies. So this is something front and center of a lot of things that we do. New technologies. Now, one thing that being in technology space that we all know and you all know is the new technologies will happen. We just need to have the mindset to adapt those new technologies, learn those technologies, and take advantage of them. Don't try to fight those technologies. That you are never going to win it. If there is efficiency that comes with those technologies, there is a convenience that will come with those technologies, society will adapt those, even if you push back or you don't push back. So the smart thing to do is adapt it and be the champions. Outsourcing. We as a leader within our industries, we have pressure to manage costs and all that. And some of the tools that folks use is outsourcing, technology, and all those things. But those pressures are not going to go away. Customer expectations. Your customers, our customers, they are getting used to all these kind of experiences that didn't exist in past. So now they are demanding out of us things that they have not demanded in past. So we need to keep an eye on what our customers are looking for, how we continue to stay relevant, how we continue to innovate, and make sure we have customers and the base is growing, right? And cost pressure, frankly, if you think pulling in opposite directions, if you will. You have to give the best service at the lowest cost possible. They don't go all the time together, but that's the problem that we need to solve. That's the problem we need to continue to innovate on and think about it, and it's never going to go away. The core priorities of business, the way they function, doesn't change. It has been true 100 years ago. It has been true 50 years ago. It is true today, and it will continue to be true. The pressure that we all have is increase your revenue, lower your cost. That's going to stay. Improve your customer satisfaction, because if your customers are not happy, they are going to go away. So you got to keep them. Not only keep them, you need to grow the base for your business. And you need happy employees. They are one of the most valued assets that we as an organization have to keep our employees happy, satisfied, so they continue to work with us, continue to be motivated to innovate within our workspace and contribute in a very productive way. And compliance risk. Most of the industries that we know of are regulated. There are rules so that we all need to follow. Those rules exist for a reason. Those rules exist to keep check on businesses so that they are making the right decisions for the society. Also, they're producing the product which consumers are going to benefit from, and it's not harming the consumers. So why companies are exploring RPA? Now, there are few things that's happening within the industry. If you remember some of the context that I set in the beginning, reduce cost, increase efficiency, be compliant. Those are the drivers for continuous invention or continuous, if you will, investment in technologies, which will give us those things, which will give us those benefits, right? So that is going to continue, right? Now, RPA is a technology which basically will keep. Are you guys seeing this pop-up coming up?
Satendra, so the pop-up is for the question and answer. Neeta is taking care of it. Two things. You are actually sharing the screen, which has the speaker view. You might want to switch to the full format view. Do you know how to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Number one, and then you can switch up. Yeah. So no, just show that, but then switch the screen. Start
right.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. So the pop-up is when somebody is chatting or the thing. You can completely ignore.
Okay.
Neeta is taking care of the chat and the question answer panel.
Okay, let me make sure this.
So start the slideshow and then just switch the screen. That's it.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Mouse issues.
And you can switch off your webcam. That way, the whole screen will have your presentation.
Right. No, that's okay. So, what is exactly an RPA, and why we are seeing so much of, if you will, interest in this technology now? As Dr. Chitri in his opening remarks said, these technologies are not new. We had this technology a long time ago. What has changed is the ease of using these technologies, the ease of building these technologies, and the number of things or items that these technologies can do. Now, if you think about what we all as an employee do within our company for the most part. Just reflect upon that. Throughout the day, we most of the time have some repetitive tasks to do. If we talk about a lot of the workforce, like in our case, they're looking to different applications, and then they go process claims. They go look at different portals, and then they find provider details and load providers. Little bit of finance. A lot of time what we do is we get invoices, and there is a department which loads these invoices in ERP systems or SAP and all those. So if you reflect upon the activity that you all do throughout the day, for the most part, your work is within a software on a computer, a lot of the cases. Or if you go back to IT, because I know a lot of you all may have IT background. If you go to there is a server patching. We do basically provision VDIs. We add new users when somebody comes to our company. So think about those things. A lot of the works are rule-based, that you repeat similar steps over and over and over again. RPA can do all of that. Every single work that I talked about, RPA can do it. Now, what RPA will not do, if you are in a position of making a judgment call, if you are in a position where you are presented with making decisions where you move the company in a different direction, acquiring a business, investing into certain areas as you saw the need. RPA can't do those. You need humans. But those roles within organizations are very limited. Unless until you are an executive or a senior leader or the CEO, you are not making those decisions every day. What most of the workforce that does are rule-based work, which can be done by robots. Now, not only it can be done by robots, if you go back to what I shared in the beginning, the pressure of cost, what is happening in industry, these robots are inexpensive. Even if I offshore certain functions, these are still cheaper than offshoring. It's a different pressure. So far in industry, folks were thinking offshoring is bad. You got to start. I mean, it depends upon what kind of organizations you are and what kind of input you get. There is always some noise. Now you have robots which are cheaper than even those options. What are you going to do, right? So that's why the businesses, they are, if go back relate to some of the topics I shared, have a pressure to cut down cost. How do you cut down cost? Well, for you to cut down cost, you find out an option which is not very expensive that you can use to run your day-to-day things within your organization. Now, don't stay just focused on the cost. There are other things happening. When you have a lot of humans doing work for you, we as a humans are not good in doing a repetitive task. We make mistakes. We type something wrong. And when we do those things, when we make those mistakes, think about the other factor I talked, compliance. I have automated a department solely because when I had a lot of humans doing it, over and over and again, we'll get audited and our auditors will find something. I put a robot will do the same work 24/7. They don't take leave. They don't go to PTO 24/7 at a fraction of the cost. And I pass my audit all the time now because we define the outcomes. We define the rules and they don't sleep over job or they don't. We as a humans are also more thoughtful. When you are adding something, we add our own intelligence to it. Robot is going with what we have trained. So compliance, perfect. Robot did something, they log the steps that they do. Anybody can look at those steps and then they can audit us, and you will be fine. So some of the benefits of the robot, obviously speed, 24/7, they don't stop, they keep doing. Now with the technologies where we have, it is, things work very, very fast, very, very fast. They're available, they're accurate, better data, because not only they're logging the steps, you can reverse engineer everything they do, but your quality of data is consistent. Keep in mind, as Dr. Chitri pointed out, as you guys learn artificial intelligence, as you guys learn actuarial science, as you guys learn analytics, machine learning, data is the fuel for all of these technologies to work. The quality of data you feed drives the outcome that you're going to get. If you have robots doing these things, you have a consistent data. Now, I'm not here to say that robots don't make mistakes. They do. But even if they make mistakes, it's consistent. But if I have 50% staff, then sometimes all 50 have done things in 50 different ways, and it becomes difficult for you to analyze that data and come to a cohesive conclusion. So a little bit more about my background. In 2019, January, I was asked to establish an RPA practice. And I was asked to establish it very quickly. We had a big time vendor. We used to get all the robots through them. It was super expensive for us. And there was urgency within the organization to build our own practice. Since January, I got busy. We started doing the work. We had to evaluate the tool, because these RPAs that you build, robots, require, like if you guys are based on the background, like if you have a Microsoft background, Visual Studio, and you need these tools to build the robots. So I got busy trying to find which company I'll go with. And I evaluated 3 companies. There are 3 leaders in the industry, UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere. Now, Microsoft came up with something last year, Power Automate. They're still trying to catch up. They have been a little behind in this space, and we'll see how that goes. But right now, you have 3 players in the industry. UiPath in 10 years didn't exist. In the last 10 years, this company have gone from nothing to $35 billion company today. In 2019, when I reviewed UiPath, they were number 3. Automation Anywhere was top. Blue Prism was, I think, close second, and UiPath was at 3rd. Now, UiPath is a publicly listed company within this country and has a $35 billion business, and they're number 1 in this technology. So think about the path to 35 billion was very fast. The adoption of these technologies in marketplaces is very high. And as I walk through some of the things, you will understand why it is so broad adoption. What is driving these things, and why every company, they feel like if they don't make investment into these technologies, if they don't start building their staff and skills along those lines, they will be left behind. So as we talked about, RPA, you give them a rule-based rules, a set of rules, they can do day in, day out, every day. They won't stop. And they will do with accuracy, they will do with consistency. There is a term within industry right now, what we call hyper-automation. Now, hyper-automation, if you think about, a lot of people call cognitive robots, also digital worker. There are certain terminologies, several other terminologies are artificial enabled RPA. What it is, basically, if you think about robotics is automation of a process. To give you an example, and I have some demos as we go through, is You identify a process where you have a lot of work going on. There are different traditional technologies trying to interact with each other, and they're not good communicating to each other in a very efficient way. And then you have these manual workers, they go do something in one place, come here, do something, come here, and all those. The hyper automation is basically you, and there is a term here, if you go, you discover the inefficiencies, you analyze those processes that will tell you where you are spending most amount of your time or what are your areas of opportunity. You design, you automate, you measure, you monitor, and you reassess. This is how we look at any process when we are trying to improve. The RPA technologies of today that we get, they have this all inbuilt. The basic concept of RPA is low code or no code. What I mean by that is traditional technology people, they used to code a lot, right? You build applications, you code, you do that. These technologies, they don't need a lot of coding. You just define the flow. A lot of the code is done behind the scene for you. Not only that, it is amazing when we saw this thing first working. You put this, what we call process mining, in front of a process. It analyzes all the logs and everything. It finds efficiency where you can say these things need to be tweaked. We can automate these things because we see a pattern. These are repeatable. You make that decision. The tool creates the documentation for you. In case of RPA, what we call PDD, normally in other areas, you call business requirement document. In terms of RPA, you call PDD. It creates that whole document for you. It writes the code for you. You have the code. You didn't write a single line of code. And now you can run and measure this through process tool that you have, what efficiency you gain. And you can iterate through these things. You can see what else is left there. And you didn't write a single line of code while doing it. Now think about it. A big process you automated with zero coding. So the traditional coding job that you all thought is going to stay may not stay, or they may be very minimal. So the concept of robot making human-like decisions in a lot of cases and automating not just the scraping of the screen, not just reading the screen or doing the rule-based systems, but behaving like humans and being able to work through different systems is what is so powerful, and that's what hyper automation is. So it's a perfect timing of the robotics technologies and now giving intelligence to these robotics technologies and being able to, because as a human, you can't just automate one process and replicate humans. Humans are very impactful. We are very smart animals, if you will, for lack of a better word. For us to replicate a humans, you need to automate multiple things as a human we do. And that's what hyper automation is about. So hyper automation, intelligent automation, if you think about how these things work. So you have the RPA sitting in the center. Now, I'll give you an example how these things work. So you have RPA sitting in the center. You have a document coming and an image coming. You have machine learning. You have natural language. So just to give you an example, and I'll keep this conversational, I will go through a lot of questions and towards the end. The RPA is sitting in the middle. Now, RPA, think like a staff of yours. in past, there is a problem that we just implemented within my organization. You have to tell RPA that if I'm getting this kind of document, read it and do something with it. Or sometimes read it. A lot of stuff we have in every company, they get these faxes, they get these scanned copies, they get these emails, they read those. And in case of healthcare, like for us, we work with doctors and we authorize a lot of services they provide, and they send a fax saying, hey, I want your authorization to do these services. Somebody reads those manually, and then we have different big ERP system, clinical system, where they go put that data and they make decisions. And that's the first step. And then we have a bunch of doctors, and they will analyze that data, and they say whether we approve or we don't approve. We get 4,000 or 5,000 faxes every day. We have a big team just to do this thing. The reason this problem was not solved is because these documents can come in different formats from different big providers, big hospitals. With these intelligent robots, they're not confined to one template or two template or three templates. They can train themselves. Now, relate to what Dr. Chitri says. One of the behaviors of humans is the ability to learn, adapt, change, grow. Now, these machines are learning as we expose them to more and more use cases, more and more scenarios. These machines are teaching themselves and adapting to these formats. So today, if I run, they just process for me, say out of 4,000, they process 100 because they only recognize 100 templates. Now I know where they failed. I'm going to train them my next high volume. Tomorrow they will adapt. And these things are happening at a rapid pace. You don't need 2 years to train them from one template to another template. Maybe that 2 years is an exaggeration. You don't need 2-3 months to train them. Maybe you need a week to train them. Now you have enough data, you train them. So the speed at which you can put robotic solution is very fast. It is non-invasive. What I mean by non-invasive, go back to if you guys have a software development skill set and all those. We get requirements, we build a lot of code, software testing, and all that happens. Then you have to integrate, make sure what you're working, it has been a common problem. It works on my system, it doesn't work here. Robotic is a very non-invasive technology. Not only you don't have to code a lot to build these things, but they can work on multiple systems. They can work on mainframe, they can work on Java systems, they can work on microsystems. Same robot, you don't have to code them over and over and again. It is very easy for them to be trained on those things. And they can be done very quickly. So the ease and the speed has been a factor for these robots as well. Now, a little bit of a traditional RPA to what happened to intelligent automation. RPA, you can build. And going back to, again, my story. So in March, we finalized the vendor. I had a team, a technology team. I picked 5-6 people. And I said, we're going to build robots. Now, these folks that we brought in, they have not used, we went with UiPath. They have not been exposed to UiPath, but I've been teaching them since January, saying you got to train. And one of the good things about a lot of these technologies, especially UiPath, is they come with free academy. You go and learn, and you don't pay a single dime. It's out there. Go take advantage, right? So you learn these technologies with no cost. So my employees have been learning, including me. I have been spending hours and hours teaching myself into these technologies. So this is where this experience will be helpful for professionals or executives who are trying to bring this technology into their organizations. This is a new technology that we were trying to bring. I also know my colleagues in industry, not in CareSource, but other places, where they have been trying to, and sometimes it's 2-3 years and they're still in evaluation mode. The learning I got and what worked for us, now we have actually millions of transactions that have gone through robots. We have these AI ML capable robots who are processing these documents that we just talked about. But I had to spend hours, long hours, teaching myself these technologies. I exhausted all the courses that UiPath had, and it is quite a bit. It's thousands of hours of training that they have. But that learning of mine helped me to drive my organization. I will have infrastructure folks here. I don't know what you're asking me to do. I'll go tell them exactly what you need to do. I'll have my team saying, you didn't train me and you're asking me to do this. So we'll do this together. I will code you, you watch, or you just watch this video with me. But there was a sense of excitement in my department. They truly believe this is a technology that's going to make a difference in their lives. This is a technology that if they adopt, will open up future possibilities for them. They will be employed. They will find better employment. They will pay more high-paying employment. And a lot of them, they did. After now, reflecting back 2 years and 2.5 years, not only we have built thousands and thousands of robots, but we have also been able to impact some of our staff's lives just because they got this skill. Frankly, some of them, they did leave me and they found better roles, bigger roles, which we couldn't find within our own organization. So it's a path that you all need to consider, that you all need to think about it. And with adding this technology of AI and machine learning, they are incredibly powerful. They're expensive, but I'll go back. In our use cases are obvious. A lot of folks, they struggle for use cases, but in our case, I've been doing healthcare for a long time, so I knew the business. I knew the problems where a lot of manual work happens. I knew we can scale those. So the key is to find an easy use case first with high volume, because RPA technology also comes with the concept of ROI. You invest, what is your return? Because you are, frankly, when you are putting it, you are replacing probably someone's job. So you need to be very thoughtful how you talk about these technologies. You need to be thoughtful about how you socialize these technologies. And you need to have the ROI handy whenever asked. The adoption of RPA is growing at a fast rate. I know in industry, most of the big organizations have these technologies. Now they're trying to build departments. Frankly, they have some of them have hired our C-level folks where they can put the RPA, AI, ML within one vertical, if you will. One of the things unique about these RPA is think about the disruptions that happened in the past. Let me give you a few examples. Think about typewriter. Think about cartwheels. Horses used to draw them. Now we have the cars. Some of the blue-collar workers where technology has replaced in past. We all know it. We relate to it. The difference about RPA is they are going to replace some of the white-collar jobs. We, a lot of folks within IT, we think we are the disruptors. We are building tools and technologies which is going to disrupt the workforce, which is going to bring change. Now, let me give you some use cases what these tools can do. If you hire a new employee, you have to set up their access, set up their Outlook access, and all that. And you have resources to do it. You don't need it. Robots can do it, all of it. We do security, server patching, VDI provisioning. You don't need it. All these robots have been doing it. And in next few years, what you'll see, these jobs are not done by humans anymore. So IT infrastructure is one of the use cases which we believe will be heavily disrupted with these technologies. Now, There are multiple type of robots that we have. Broadly, you can classify them attended, unattended. Now, there are different flavors. I'll just quickly walk through these flavors as we're getting close. No robots, everything manual. Attended on demand. Think about in call centers. You got a call, but your call, you have multiple systems that call center employees have to go and pull data to give the complete information to the caller. While they're on the call, focusing on the user, these robots can go collect all that data. So when they're ready, the data is right there for them to see, and they can give a more informed decision. Attended in tandem, think about the use case I just talked about, new user provisioning or new employee provisioning. HR inputs few things, and then robots takes from there, and then they do all the work, all the access to Outlook, access to different infrastructure. They can do it. There are, and especially these in the US, this use case was for European countries where they have passed a law to, as I can call a company and I can tell them that you have to get rid of all my data. And now these data can sit into multiple systems. So there are robots which just goes and cleans up that data for that person who just made that call. Partially unattended, that I have a robot sitting, watching in a drive. If you drop a file, it will take the file and run from there. And fully attended. End to end, the entire process is managed by robots. We have several use cases within our organization that we have put where robots are managing the entire process, where in past we had multiple employees managing those things. I'm going to share with you a very simple video. And I think we need to be in presentation mode to see it. Let me see if we can make this work. Okay, I will not get into, we'll just run from here.
I don't think we can hear the audio. So I don't think we can actually do the video, Satendra.
Yeah, that's fine. Just watch the data, and I can give you the context. Just pay attention to the steps that's happening.
Looks all like right,
I'll pause. Yeah. So brief update what was happening there. So we had at least a 6-person department where all that happens is, as an organization, we work with multiple vendors. And when you work with these vendors, they submit you invoices. They email you saying, hey, here is the services I provide, here is my cost and all that. An employee will read the email, get the data, type in any SAP system, and generate a purchase order, and then release the payment. 6%, and they were not able to keep up. You can put a robot, and 95% of the work is all done by robots. Robot watches the email. When it checks, it knows based on the subject, who is this for. It will open the PDF, read the data, type it within SAP system, and generate the purchase order. You don't need all the big team that you needed in past. Now these folks are more focused on adding value add, like a human. We need to analyze what kind of other processes they can come up that we need to think about. What kind of vendors we should be doing, more vendor oversight, more diligence and research in the market. Who are the right vendors? We can give these folks time to do all of those things, right? I'm not sure if the audience here have the experience, or if you guys are interested in how implementation and all done. I'll just give a quick primer and glide through these slides. For you to implement an RPA practice within an organization, there are multiple things that needs to happen, and multiple skill sets or departments that exist within your bigger team. Obviously, you will have a solution architect. You have traditional BAs who create PDD, not BRDs. You have developers. Now, developers, there are two types of developers. We call citizen developers, and we have traditional developers who focus on more complicated robots. A lot of the robots can be done by citizen developers, and citizen developers can be someone even from your business folks who are not traditionally have been exposed to technology. So those are called citizen developers. You will have a testing team. Obviously, the testing team will test. You will have the infrastructure team who still you want the segregation of duties because you can't deploy your own stuff to production. You need a different team to manage. Then normally now those things are automated. They go through the pipeline. But from workflow perspective, you still need a different department to approve the deployment of those things. And then you focus on the continuous improvement. So these are some of the roles that I've talked about. In terms of what's happening around the globe, obviously North America have the biggest adoption of these technologies and the robotics, followed by Europe, and third is Japan, where we see most amount of adoption. I briefly touched about on this one. This is disrupting quite a bit of industry. What is unique about this disruption is it is actually disrupting a lot of the technology work along with all the other traditional scenarios that we talked about. RPA, and these are some of the industry leaders who we have quoted their view in terms of the task of data entry, juggling through different systems will be a thing of past with these technologies. Now, this is the paradigm shift I've talked about earlier. We only talked in context of blue-collar job. Here we are talking about white-collar job being disrupted and being, frankly, a newer skill needed for some of those positions. What is the future of these technologies? So today, it's a $2 billion business. RPA is a $2 billion business in 2021. RPA alone there is a projection by 2027 is going to be somewhere 25 or $20 billion business. RPA along with these, what we call intelligent automation is predicted to be quite a big business, and they estimate some of the research organizations like McKinsey and all are projecting close to $6.7 trillion business, and that's a massive opportunity. Start easy, as I was saying, when you guys start thinking about it, start with the easy, high volume use case. First of all, for you to build this department within your organization, you need to prove the worth of the technology. Once you got the success under your belt, then you mature and focus on more complicated use cases. This is something for you all to take back as you reflect on. Think about these technologies in the bottom. Frankly, a lot of them don't exist. What is going to happen in future is there will be two kind of organizations. Organization who stayed in front of these technologies, adapted, trained their resources, and took advantage. They will thrive like all the other organizations we have seen in past. An organization who are going to push back may not exist in future. Thank you. With that, I'll open up for any questions that you all may have.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Karthik, we can. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning or good afternoon. That was really good presentation on the RPA stuff. I'm basically a supply chain consultant working on the manufacturing side. I do see opportunities in my organization to introduce RPA. As you said, there are quite a lot of providers over there. But if I want to first start learning about it, even if I take any one of those providers and if I want to learn more about it, how do I start? Or where do I start, to be precise?
That's a great question, Karthik. So based on what kind of background you have. If you have a traditional, say, Microsoft background, and that was my reason to finalize UiPath, they have free resources available. You can go ahead, they have a free academy, and you can read them. I also use personally a lot of resources like Pluralsight, and there are quite a bit of Udemy. A lot of resources right now on RPA available. I'll request you, I'll encourage you to take advantage of them. But the key is, remember, sharing from my experience, for you to bring these technology within your organization, you need to learn and understand first. That's the only way you can shape up the conversation within your organization. That's the only way you can, because a lot of people will come to you with questions. How I do this? How I do this? Because when you make a change, as a humans, we have a tendency to push back on change. But if you are trying to bring these technology, you understand these technologies, then you can shape up the conversation and you can influence the conversation.
Okay, cool. That's helpful. So, yeah, I'm basically not a technical person. I'm more of a business analyst kind of role, not very little experience with coding and stuff. So, I say you did say that UiPath has its own resources. So, if I just check out their website or something, that's where I will find those.
Yes.
Okay. And for a person like me with very little technical background, is it still good to explore those resources, or should I start somewhere else?
You can. So as you said, one of the things I was saying, and to double down on that or double click on that, is the concept of these technologies of low code, no code, and citizenship developers. You really don't need pretty in-depth expertise. And in my case, I'll share my experience, and that's why I was looking forward to these question answers so that I can share some of my own experiences. I brought in few staff who doesn't have any technology experience. And what I looked into them is their desire to learn and their excitement when you talk about these things with them. And they picked up, and frankly, they built some very complicated use cases for us.
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. So I think that's where I will start. Thank you so much. Thanks, Niga.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we have one more question. Go ahead.
Satendra, can I make some comments?
Sure, please go ahead, Dr. Chitri.
Okay. What I would like to make comment, the use of these technologies, there are two kinds of things that I can think of. One is deterministic, right? That means the yes, no. You can have 2 choices, 4 choices, or you can make a computation. You get exact result, right? There are situations where it's not deterministic. You can't, for example, I use fingerprints, right, on my cell phone to log in. So what the system does, it takes my when I press my finger, then it senses it. It has to match the original signature I gave it to it, right? So when I touch it, when you touch it, it's not exactly the same. Every time you touch, it's different. Sometimes your finger may not be in the exact same spatial XYZ dimensions, right? It's an approximate. So what the system does, it has to make a decision, comes back and says it's like a stochastic or a dynamic. That means your answer is not exact. You have to estimate in saying how precise can I get. So the system has to make a decision based on what is it? Is it 80% chance that it's the same as the original signature? Is it 99% chance it's the same as the original? And that is where the challenging. Same thing with the natural language processing, right? You're trying to read text, for example, or you translate from one language to another language, right? Translation is another one. It's not exact, right? There are multiple choices. You get a lot of choices. So the system has to come up with a way to optimize, come up with a response. And these technologies are used many places. GPS is another technology where the systems use this kind of a dynamic assessment, statistical methodology, approximate. It's never perfect. So you have to come up with a optimization, come up with the right answer. And this is more and more. Suppose you buy a robot vacuum cleaner, right? And it has to know your every house is different, every room is different, right? It's a demographic. So it has to figure out, what the where to stop, where there's a bump, there is an obstacle, and all that, right? You can think of that. Suppose you have a robot that's cleaning the swimming pool, your swimming pool. So these are all automated systems, but they have a very complicated system where it has to. It's a very, very challenging. You get a solution that's never perfect. It's an approximate. What with the time they do, they try to optimize it, make it better and better and better. That's what will happen. When you try to automate, you're trying to automate not only mechanical systems, but also human processes, judgments. Right? Human beings make judgments. And it's a unbelievable machine that the God invented. It is the most sophisticated AI machine that you can ever think of. Right? But now you're trying to think of robotics and these technologies to mimic what the human beings do, right? There are some technologies that are trying to say they want to capture when you're thinking, your thought. Even before you have to have a thought before you speak, right? So instead of capturing your speech, they want to capture your thought process in your brain and predict what the thought is, and it's going to process that. So these are all exciting, really exciting. It's a new world and unbelievable. So I think if you're interested, if you're inspired, and if you're motivated, there's a lot of opportunities. It's exciting. I wish I was younger, but so every one of us can take advantage of it and move forward and participate in this exciting world, new world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chitri. And just to continue and to add to what Dr. Chitri just said, think about the ability of facial recognition. This is a very complex solution, by the way, AI/ML. What's happening in industry right now is facial recognition is now a commodity. The democratization of AI/ML technology is making it more and more, is increasing. It's not only making it easily available, it is also becoming very inexpensive. So one of the things that we do is we as robots have the models and you do sentiment analysis. Now, sentiment analysis, building a model with sentiment analysis is NITA's thing to do. They have a bunch of these scientists with PhDs and all that, and they're building the model. I don't need to do any of this. Microsoft have given a module, you just add it to your RPA, I have sentiment analysis. So there is a democratization of these technologies as well, and that's contributing to the broader adoption. Also, more awareness is there. And again, I just wanted to quickly add, and I'm trying to pass on all the experience to you all. I understand we have a limited time. As I talked about the use case of getting the documents, the earlier issue with robotics was you have to train them into the format that it can get. It needs to be into a set format. Well, not anymore. You can get into different formats. Now, if robots, they read it, and they will, going back to the probabilistic model that Dr. Chitri talked about, they can tell you with certainty that they got everything correct. But they will tell you, I have 80% confidence, and this is what I see. And what we call this concept is a human in the loop. They did most of the work, but they pause for you to review, saying, hey, here is what I think. You tell me if it is correct or not. Now, if you told the robot, no, it's not correct, you should do this, you just trained your robot for that work to happen automatically next time you see these things. It is becoming that simple to do some of these work, where this used to be a major undertaking, massive investment for a company to make to do these kind of things. But with this human in loop, the work that the robot that we built first time is not able to do it, is going to pause for your intervention. And if you have been consistently telling the same message, now those things will not come back to you. Robot knows that when I get these things, my human boss does this, so I can do this. So keep in mind, these technologies are becoming more and more easy to adopt, cheaper to get, and that's contributing to the more adoption, if you will, more broader adoption. Any more questions?
That's great. So would you want to elaborate on some of the more practical use cases in healthcare for RPA?
So I can share with you all some of the things that we have done, right? So if you think about healthcare system, be on the hospital side or be on the healthcare insurance companies like us, I have been on both the sides. A lot of the systems are extremely complicated, very complicated systems. Change in those technologies happen at a slow pace. And the reason is you need to find someone who understands all these complex systems. And B, the cost of making mistakes in those systems is very high. You are touching people's life. You're dealing with people's life. So that's why these technologies have not improved as fast as you see into other space, right? So when we process, in our case, there are a few things. One, I talked about prior authorization. If you are a doctor, you are a hospital, you want to perform certain services for our members, you need a prior authorization. What you do is send me a fax. You submit a document because I need these documents from legal perspective. Some of these things are needed for me. You submit me some of their medical records and all that. In past, this authorization, somebody will read it, manually type it, and all that. Robots can read it and automate. The other piece where we focused first was processing of the claim. Now, if you all don't know, in one healthcare payer industry, one of the major functions we do is getting all these claims from all of our members who go and visit these doctors and providers and process them. There used to be a massive team. We still have a decent sized team who used to every day, there are straightforward systems. Like in my case, we deal with a major facet system. That's where some of the national recognitions we got. We have these systems which process the claims based on the rules we have defined. Now, there are certain things which I cannot define the rules. They stop for somebody to manually review. We reviewed those manual steps and saying what exactly you are doing. You are going to this portal, you're going to this provider, checking all this. And now we have at least since March 2019, within claim processing alone, we have close to 5 million transactions that went through the robot that didn't require manual intervention. The robot went and checked all the system that needs to be checked, processed the claim, they went out the door. Let me give you another now artificial intelligence version of the robot. We are putting a robot, and this is something we're working, where you get these claims, and then there is a certain outcome of the claim. Now, we want to pay these claims. If the provider performs the services, we should be paying it. But a lot of time, what happens is, A, the way some of the systems are set up, or B, how some of the data is coming from these providers, we ended up denying these claims. When we deny, a provider will call, say, hey, why did you deny? I did this, this, this. Now we went back and make it. A lot of cases, we make a different decision on those claims. Sometimes we don't change our decision is correct. When we do make a different decision, these robots now are watching this data. Now, before I denied systematically. The claim went through my system, auto-adjudicated and went out. These robots will pause saying, hey, in past when you got and you denied these claims, you had to go back and reprocess the claim. I'm pausing, and if you agree with the steps you did last time, I'll do it for you and the claim will go right. So system is training itself and learning from the behaviors and decisions that we continue to make, and they are capable of replicating those decisions. So those are some quick examples that I wanted to share with you guys. There are quite a bit, some of them quite complicated, but these are the simple, I think will probably resonate with you. Any more questions? Anita, you have anything in the chat that we need to take care of?
You want to, I mean, Nita has answered some other questions. Nita, you want to just repeat those questions so that he can also chime in?
Yeah, exactly. So there is another question around how would the jobs look like in the next 20 years? So if you want to give your thoughts on that.
So in next 20 years, if I have a crystal mirror and if I can predict, right, the job will change. And frankly, I don't think I know how it will change. Neither you know, or I'll venture to say, I don't think any of us know. But you can learn from the past. What happened in the past? Your systems need to continue to improve and get more efficient. Your system needs to continue to become more and more inexpensive. Solutions that you provide needs to make humans, frankly, more productive. We all want to get more out of ourselves, more convenient for us to use. And as so, what you really what you really need to be thinking about is, one of my favorite quote is to have a growth mindset. What I mean by that is always keep an open mind, always keep an attitude to learn, always keep an attitude to adapt. If you do that, doesn't matter where we land in 20 years, you'll be there and you will have the right skill to support that. You will be a contributor to that change.
Yeah, and I know we have 5 minutes left. I can chime in as well. I do agree that we can't predict, but we do know that it is going to be very different than what we see today. And as Satendra was saying, look at the historical trend. What did you see 10 years ago? And there's some jobs which have just vanished, right? And I do agree with Satendra that just understanding what the trends are, just adopting, because what you are going to see right now, like as an RPA, it might actually totally change in 10 years, right? Can you adapt and learn and keep up? I think that's the key.
Yes, that's right. It's going to be more intelligence based, and future looks bright.
I agree. It is bright. One of the favorite quote I'll leave with you guys is, think about even if you were a billionaire 50 years ago, some of the luxuries that we have, not being a billionaire, being frankly, being a lot of, if you will, families with medium income range, if you will, some of the luxuries that you have today, even the billionaires of past didn't have it. And it's happening because of the democratization of the technology, the price point going down, and frankly, humans continue to invent big and better things.
That's one last question. What coding languages are you usually used for these robots?
So my background is all Microsoft, and the vendor that we chose, one of the drivers for that decision was that they are aligned with Microsoft technology.
Many of the each of these platforms, Unix, Oracle, they have all their own infrastructure platforms, and Python, Java. There are a lot of open sources languages that are used. It's just your ability to express and communicate with that infrastructure. So you can, young minds like you will be able to be mastered in one language, but then can translate that same aspect on different languages. So don't get stuck up on language.
I will agree.
Any other questions? Thank you, Satendra. Thank you, Anita. That was a very wonderful presentation. I think we have inspired some of the young minds and maybe a BA who had some questions too into thinking about what holds and what we can achieve. And thanks for giving all the examples. Thanks for walking through the process. And we now know some buzzwords too. Thank you for your time and taking this time to come and enlighten us. Any final words?
Oh, yes, and thank you. And again, Mr. Anbu and Mr. Chinturi and whole North-South organization, my whole family is associated with you all. I have high appreciation for what you guys do, trying to train our future generations and give them the skills and the tools and your continuous emphasis on education and the skill. I have high regards for you all, and I really appreciate and thank you all for doing that.